Hello everyone and welcome. I'm so happy to have you all back. My name is Julian Patriotime. I'm going to be joined for today's Academy Games by Coco the Dragon. Coco, how's it doing, man?
Hello. It's going great. I've got everything set up, and I just found out that I don't have to pay my taxes until July, so everything is looking up.
Alright, of course, well, due to the impact of COVID-19, LCS and Academy have gone online, which is why you see this particular setup. We are still dedicated, though, to bringing you all the league action you know and love. So sit tight, because we have 5 more Academy games today to round out week 8 of the season, which has been pretty wild down the stretch, Coco.
Yeah, it's been one brutish season for all of these teams. Everyone is pretty much just one win or loss apart, and it just goes to show that everyone is really striving for that ultimate perfection, especially when you're in a league that has pretty much like an LCS level team with Dignitas Academy, so you gotta play on par.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Dignitas Academy later, but our first game, of course, Team Liquid Academy versus Golden Guardians Academy, and this is kind of a cool clash of styles. TLA have had pretty slow games, certainly have played a lot of long games this season, but on the other side, it's been all early game for Golden Guardians Academy.
Oh yeah, they're trying to speedrun as fast as possible through these games because, when you have that situation where you have the second highest goal differential at 15 and the highest starting first blood percentage in your jungler for hard, you have to make sure that you are always at least 2,000 or so gold ahead of your opponent so you can make up for any mistakes that you might have later on in the game, especially against Team Liquid, who has a very strong late game performance.
Yeah, they've been pretty good as a team as they ramp up. Shonefire in particular, probably the player we'll be looking at, but Champs Select has begun, so we'll put all those thoughts on hold as the first 2 bans are in, Yuumi and Aphelios to start things off, and there's Tahm Kench banned by Golden Guardians.
Yeah, so what I'm looking for from Golden Guardians with these bans is actually a lot of lane security, because you see already the Yuumi and the Tahm Kench getting banned out. Those are those safety picks in those bottom lanes that you don't want Team Liquid to have. That allows them to get to the late game a lot safer in that security. And then Team Liquid's on the other side where it's, okay, we want to make sure that we can grab things that have a lot of scaling, but the late game bullying that Golden Guardians might have, want to make sure that we can get those off the board. So Senna, also that late game security being taken away.
A ton of marksmen actually off the board. Kalista also joining the pile alongside Tahm Kench. So a lot of those safer, just kind of in vogue bot lanes being banned out. And last ban is Pantheon, certainly in the early game camp there, but an easy first pick set for Golden Guardians.
Oh yeah, extremely easy for Zion Spartan. Not only is it an extremely great bullier, you also can use it as that flex pick. I want to see if Hard might bring it into the jungle. I've seen set jungle happen a little bit, but it's something where it's not too impressive. So maybe a little bit of a late game security on that end, as Team Liquid will have the chance to really pick up some comfort picks on this bottom side. I really want to see if Rikara and Kao will get a winning bottom lane to sort of help Shernfire in these early game progressions to muddle out Golden Guardians.
Yeah, kind of much like, Team Liquid, LCS team, been quite a lot of just general shakeups in the rosters for Team Liquid Academy. You mentioned Rikara is one of the newest players joining this team since Tactical has moved up to join the 6-man roster now for Team Liquid, but Shonefire came in late, Broxah came in late for the LCS team, so to even be at this spot where maybe Team Liquid can rattle off a few wins at the end of the season and then make it into playoffs is pretty impressive given the predicaments their team have been in.
Oh yeah, for sure, and you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt as well. Like when you have someone come in late like Shernfire who might need a little bit extra time for synchronicity, as well as Rikara just coming in as well. So if they're able to tune and sort of hone into each other soundly and quickly, that just speaks to how well the Academy team has really been able to put in that practice, as now they're actually going to have to double down on that duo synchronicity because you're going up against the most synchronized of Rakan and Xayah.
Yeah, Goroka and Keith will take Xayah and Rakan. As you mentioned, we did have the GP picked up already for Jenkins, and there's the Nautilus, something that Cow's played quite a lot of so far this split, but I think considering a lot of different options, but keeping it fairly stable.
Yeah, I want to see a Thresh though. I feel like Cow would have had a great Thresh performance because it allows a little bit more safety and that additional engagement tool with the death sentence, and scales fairly well. But Nautilus, it's something that you get that lane rolling, right? And then he just becomes this absolute death ball of a unit that can go to any lane and really sort of give them an advantage in any situation, and provides a little bit of additional zone pressure, as now with all those being picked up, you have a lot of comfort to sort of really hone down on this jungle pool.
We'll see what happens here. I imagine both Shern and Hard will kind of start going after each other's picks, Jarvan being the first ban here for Team Liquid, but Yasui is going to lose that Aurelia. Did have quite an impressive performance on it yesterday, so not wanting to give that one over.
Yeah, Gragas is still available as well. I wonder if Hard will see if he can grab that one, because it has really provided him a lot of pressure in these early stages. Another one I'd be looking at would be Elise. So a lot of those early AP junglers, I want to see if Team Liquid will take those off the board. And for sort of finalizing out their composition as well, I think you do need something that is a bit more aggressive on that side. So maybe hold on to it, grab it into this next rotation, get that early jungler, deny it away from Hard, and then sort of force them into something that isn't as good in those dueling scenarios.
It seems like Liquid are taking those tank junglers out, so we'll see what jungler they pick out of this into phase 2, and I think as you're alluding to, I do expect them to pick a jungler up here. Gragas will be lost out of the pool as a result, so Golden Guardians not wanting to give that one away to Shern. But certainly curious. As you mentioned, you don't really get to be the number one first blood jungler on the Golden Guardians if you don't pick early game junglers. So
yeah, right. Like Elise is still on the board. You could pop that one in. Thinking, yeah, like there's not really a lot of any other spicy picks outside of like the Olaf security. There is that one being locked in for Schernfire. So now it's something where, okay, now I can pretty much outduel you as long as you don't pick any sort of additional roaming supports to, or excuse me, a roaming top laner or mid to help him out, because at this time you could still argue Set is that flex, and with that Ornn lock in, that does mean Set is going to be either going into that mid or jungle, as Karthus also being locked in. So this is going to be a Set mid, most likely.
Very interesting mix-up here for Golden Guardians, but we have seen both the Blaze Olive and Zion Spartan be pretty dynamic with how they're willing to play. So yeah, 3 interesting champions to round out after a very obvious duo lane, but we'll see where Golden Guardians want to put them in a second as Team Liquid lining up their last pick, and it does look like it will be Sylas here for Yasui, and it is.
Oh, actually, that's pretty good. That's a great last pick, as a matter of fact, because now you look at all of those ultimates on that side. So you give a clap over to Golden Guardian saying, all right, nice job using that Set as a bait, sort of holding him into this position where you can pick your jungler and your top laner comforts at that very end. But you have to say that last reply, making sure that you look at their entire composition, you see the tools that Golden Guardians has, and you're like, all right, I'm going to be able to take 1 or 2 of those away and bring it to my side. And that Sylas pickup just very clean on the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think a pick that has maybe not been explored as much as it could have. It did get changed, and a lot of people are like, well, Sylas is nerfed, I don't want to play it anymore. But a lot of players have been picking it up again. Yasui's certainly someone that knows his way around the champion. So kind of fun, but I think for me the interesting part is both junglers this time are opting into farming junglers rather than something more aggressive like the Elise that you were talking about.
Yeah, like you could always argue that you're going to have a first blood percentage when you just fast level to level 6 as Hard might be able to just get a Requiem. Like you could still secure that stat, but it's also playing into their next big stat, which is that highest gold differential at 15. So if you're able to hard farm, like I said earlier, if you're going to the point where you can get more money than your opponent at that sort of early to mid game conversion where you start contesting neutral objectives more and those first turret plates start to fall away, then it's like, all right, now this dueling and the skirmishing has our favor because we're just getting to that power spike ahead of the opponent.
Certainly some cool comps. Excited to see how they play out. With Champ Select complete, we're now heading to a 5-minute commercial break. This is to preserve competitive integrity by adding a 5-minute delay to the game, but we'll be casting what you see, so you won't miss anything. We'll catch you here after this. Welcome back, everyone. As a reminder, we have built up a 5-minute delay to preserve competitive integrity, and on that note, we actually had a pause in this game, so we'll continue to build up that delay, but as soon as we're ready, we'll dive back into the game. I'm still Patriotime, still joined by Coco the Dragon for our first game here, and the thing we have to ask, I think, Coco, is you told me before the broadcast, you're an Ornn player, and Ornn has seen a lot of attention, mainly on the ban list, and finally received some nerfs in recent patches. But unsurprisingly, as soon as it's back open, Golden Guardian's happy to pick it.
Yeah, and the fact that it sort of got through the draft wasn't too surprising, right? Like, it got that nerf, it got a little bit of a pad, makes competitive play a little bit more scared to sort of bring it back in. But for me, it's something that it actually sort of brings it to a little bit of normalcy. Like, I think that the changes that they've made to sort of bring it back down and nerf him are good. And he's someone that provides so much pressure in those early stages where he can create some dueling setups. He can provide that engagement for those junglers to help come in and get ahead. And then in the end, once you get to that late game, he has not only the ornaments that he can give everyone for that extra gold, but also he provides more zoning, more engagement pressure, and overall way more tools than a lot of the tanks now provide. So he will get flushed out. Like, you could say Maokai or Poppy might come into the meta and be a little bit more flavorful, but for right now, Ornn is still king in those tank tops and mids, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, Ornn was the only tank being played effectively before all the tank items got changed, and now since those have been buffed, even though Ornn has had some slight hits, it makes sense that he's still kind of the king of the tanks, as you mentioned. So kind of curious to see this game play out. I think I am surprised about how teamfight oriented Golden Guardians Academy wanted to go here.
Yeah, I'm a little interested on it as well, because this is something that you look at their statistics and you look at the previous games. It's like, okay, we want to get ahead early. We want to have very bloody and scrappy compositions. And then going to a point where it's like, all right, we have a set. We have a Karthus who wants to just be constantly farming and not really worry about any lanes whatsoever. It's this sort of counterpunch mentality for me where they're going against Team Liquid, who's renowned for those late game scales, and is saying, hey, we can actually play your style, and we might be even able to do it better, especially when you're technically like a mindset down, when you have Rikara just stepping in and Surenfire, who's been dominating but hasn't been able to really take care of those early game starts just yet.
Yeah, it definitely feels like if there's a place of obvious attack for Golden Guardians in the early game, it is going to be in that 2v2. I mean, Zyra Khan, a formidable duo pretty much anywhere, as we are going to get ourselves into game. Apologies, it looks like we are jumping in slightly late, but ooh, Team Liquid already lining up for something early. Keith going to have to get out of there. Hook is going to miss. Keith, nice dash out of the way. Team Liquid Academy with a little poke in for the invade, but don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, just a little taste testing, seeing if they can get their feet in the water and find out really what Golden Guardian wants to grab. Like, this is an almost direct flip of philosophy already. Surenfire seeing if he can get an early advantage, know where hard starts. It's pretty obvious even then with a Karthus, but if he can make it to where he's able to stay in the darkness, prowl around, and then once it gets to that level 2, level 3 power spike for Surenfire, like once he clears all the camps, start hunting around for those ganks. Because you look at those setups, right? Like Zion Spartan on this top lane, don't really want to worry about it. But if you want to shut down Gorka and Keith, that's really the play for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. As you mentioned, pretty obvious start here for Hard. He's going to start clearing on the bottom half of his jungle. Surenfire on the same side, so at his blue, which again also makes sense for Olaf. But certainly curious to see how effectively Hard can clear. Karthus is one of those junglers that it is not free to just play Karthus jungle like it is with some maybe more straightforward champions. Yeah. You have to put a lot of games in just learning how to clear without losing all your health.
Oh yeah, like I was just hearing that discussion about the dive a couple podcasts ago where Azael was sort of mentioning these different speed rates of clear for the initial start for Karthus, where they'd really come down to the specific mechanics and placements of the Skittles and where you need to be in comparison to the camp. And it's like, if Hard is able to replicate that, which we want to keep track of, he'll be able to actually come in and help out a Blaze Olive and really shut down Yasui's Silas before it starts to get out of hand.
Doesn't need too much help right now. Blaze Olive with actually a very nice trade into mid lane, but you have to think that 1v1, Ornn's not going to be doing too much, although we'll see. Spellbook can also open up a lot of possibilities.
Watch for level 3, because that's really when Ornn gets, like, once he gets all his skills, he can start baiting you out, do some animation canceling, and look for, like, just those initial bursts. But at the moment, just playing it slow, playing it safe, and just using that base damage to what it can.
It's funny, nice little Bella's Breath there. We saw actually Yasui gonna go back in, but again, Ornn just pretty straightforward trades, and it does kind of remind me of Rumble in a weird way, right? Like, doesn't push the lane nearly as aggressively, but like very stable pick that can kind of push and be safe, and then extremely impactful in team fights once you get your ultimate.
Yeah. He sort of like burrows his way into the brain and worries with it for a bit, where like it kind of tilts your laning phase just a bit, and you constantly keep calling for your laner to be like, all right, push this guy really underneath this turret so I can go and help you out and roam and look for anything. But yeah, like as the lane is going, it's totally fine as it is for Yusui, as long as he doesn't get to a real lethal point where Hart can just like walk in and throw a skittle and call it a day. And all the other lanes are sort of in that same mindset, where Jenkins doing phenomenally for himself on that gangplank. I just want to see how far he can get away with that farming differential.
Yeah, curious to see if that holds up, because Zion's goal difference stats early on at 10 minutes have been very good in Academy. But right now, Jenkins certainly getting the better end of that matchup. In the bot lane, though, Rikara and Kao actually off to a pretty good start, pushing nicely here with the MF, and up a couple of CS. It's nothing crazy just now, but it is nice to see that kind of the lane we maybe thought would go bad early for Team Liquid's actually going more than fine.
Yeah, and at this point, too, it's really interesting to see how well you're going to have this sort of two mix-ups between Keith and Gorka, where they're able to shut down Kao and Rikara just to get that early dragon pressure. Might be what the call is, but Hart actually coming in to say hi.
What a combo by a Blaze Olive, gonna knock up Yasui. Hart also getting a slow down for the Dark Harvest, will get Brock. Yasui back in, gets the W in that. Shern actually going for Hart. He's just squishy a target, but not really in range. A nice another axe. Fire though does save a Blaze Olive, and no kills in mid lane.
That actually, I'd say, is a pretty good advantage here for Team Liquid, especially with that force flash. Oh, that's so close. Now Fire has so much pressure in this jungle to force Hard out of this and take some chickens for himself as well.
This definitely feels like, you know, what TL wanted to get out of this mid lane pick. You know, Ornn very stable, very safe, very difficult to kill, but can maybe not provide as much pressure early on. Yasui now having a bit of an advantage, able to just take the fight straight to the Ornn with a Conqueror. I mean, Fire is playing against another farming jungler. Look at the CS between the two jungles right now.
Yeah.
12 CS up for Fire.
Like, and it's almost mirrored too in this top lane as well. Like, all this difference going on is just big blinking red lights going off in Golden Guardian's house and just saying, look, we've got to find some way to catch up. We don't want to be in this differential when it comes down to these skirmishes, because once you fall behind just 1,500 gold and you say Yasui, who wants to be in these long extended trades with a Blaze Olive, he gets that item early, you can just kiss Ornn goodbye, because he's not going to be able to really survive past any of that initial burst that he's going to be thrown out.
Yeah, certainly kind of needs to build up towards that first item, so we'll see what a Blaze Olive does do. I'm imagining Abyssal Mask here, but we'll see. Also, beautiful 1v1 on display there for Jenkins in the top lane. Is going to force Zion to TP back, but it looks like GP has already used his teleport actually. So going back to base, buying a Sheen, now has a Cull, but is going to be a little bit later back to that lane as grab there for Kao onto Gorka. Rikara flashing straight over, that's it! First blood, 2v2 for the Team Liquid Academy bot lane.
Oh, lovely. I actually love the fact that right when Jenkins hit level 6, he was like, all right, we can hit that go button. Went back, recalled, made sure that Zion Spartan didn't know where he was, and they made the play immediately down there for Team Liquid. Getting that first blood, nothing happening in reply just yet. So now you have to think where Golden Guardians is going to try and set their eyes on. Do they want to just say, you know what, we lost that trade, let's take the L as it is, see if we can get some additional pressure on this top side, because now you have both of your side lanes really struggling to keep momentum, and it just allows Fire to constantly move into this river, check where Hard is, see if he can get some pacing, and then just reassert for a new objective that Team Liquid can take.
I think that's the best thing to highlight, is like this is exactly what Fire wants. Everyone pushing the lanes, everyone ahead, just give me space to go in, farm, and invade the enemy jungle. 20 CS ahead now for the jungle matchup, but Team Liquid Academy ahead across the board. In fact, they're up 1,500 gold in this early game. And Golden Guardians are supposed to be the early game team.
Yeah, and that's what's confusing, right? Like I was saying that Golden Guardians, they play this late game scaling. They're saying, okay, we can beat you at your own game, but Team Liquid playing just faster, saying, well, we can play yours a lot better. And I think that's what's perfect for Academy as well. Is now Surenfire saying hello and cool.
Downstairs, here we go. Keith's going to be the target. Grab did connect, but nothing really happening. Nice attempt though from Team Liquid Academy, but couldn't quite sync up all the CC. Zaya and Rakan are very tricky to try and kill, but without an ultimate, I'm actually impressed Gorica lived so easily. Did have to burn the flash though, it looks like.
Yeah, but now you have only an Ignite down there between Keith and Gorica respectively, so next time that happens, it's going to be even worse, because now you won't have that escape. You have to wait until you get that level 6, and it causes this issue. Is Surenfire just saying hello on a Blaze Olive? Not going to be like any massive kill, but it's just making sure you have that pressure that Yasui can always answer if Surenfire wants to poke his head in and see where Hard's at, because at this moment, you're 20 CS down, Hard needs to catch up, you're falling behind in bottom lane, and even mid having some trouble.
They're going
Forced
for
to
it.
use the ultimate just to disengage.
Really nice hook there from Cal, but no follow-up, unfortunately, there for a Blaze Olive. Nice steal from Yasui, again, lined up the all-in-all nicely, but under the turret enough to not get killed there.
Yeah, it's something where you're playing with fire there, buddy. Like, a Blaze Olive, he's going to be really difficult to dive, and Cal coming in just to sort of flex his muscles a little bit, it's questionable because you could throw your lead away almost instantaneously if you disrespect the Ornn defense. So, sit back, play it safe. Nice hook, but sure. It's now at a point where 9 minutes in, you're looking for the Rift Herald. If you're Team Liquid, Golden Guardians just needs to push their vision out to the rivers so they can at least find where this Olaf is, because right now, that is the big question mark on the map.
Certainly not an overcommit, if nothing else, in mid lane, but I do like the roam from Cal, because bot lane's just fine, and it seems like at this point, they're going to flatten out a little bit with the farm, as Gorica is able to catch up, thanks to Cal leaving the lane. A Blaze Olive, though, also doing just fine on farm, kind of floating the lane right now, and getting the pressure pushed back forth. But again, I'm curious to see, can these champions leave the lane, because I think the time to really do damage to this Ornn is kind of fading with the fact that he has the Negatron Cloak now finished as well. So I think Ornn is no longer a viable target for pressure.
No, I don't think so either. Like, you could say maybe Surenfire is able to catch him if a Blaze Olive is doing something like this, where he's caught predicting where Yasui is going to be and is forcing the lane back out to survive, and you just come back for that reach gank. That's the only time you're going to be able to really take down a Blaze Olive anymore. Now it's, alright, what can we get on this bottom lane? Zion Spartan, you can always throw into consideration, but he is playing way too safe to really consider anything, and you're totally fine with Jenkins just hyper farming as it is, just about 20 CS as well in the differential department, and we're closing in on that 15-minute gap where plates are going to fall, and we're going to get that checkpoint of how far behind is Golden Guardians falling, because you're still slowly getting to that 3,000 gold mark as Surenfire putting the pressure
really nice hook into the MF. Ulti beautifully comboed. Keith almost going to die. The Ignite is enough there from Cow, as Ragnarok will be popped as well. Team Liquid just smashing this bottom lane now.
Oh my goodness, that was just absolutely perfect there from Kao getting that hook, and it now opens up pressure. Go ahead, take the dragon. Hard is not in a place to really try and contest this. Like, he could just sacrifice himself and say, all right, you know what, YOLO, get the dragon just to deny it, but it's just the second dragon. It's not the soul. Play it safe, keep on farming. You still have to play catch up, and there's so many things on the table that just keep getting messier and messier for Golden Guardians. Team Liquid just taking this one away, playing a perfect early game.
Yeah, up 2,000 gold almost. Have two Drakes, as it will be the Mountain Rift and Mountain Soul for this particular game. Shone also has just been farming up a Storm. Not only is he 20 CS ahead of Hard, but he actually has the Eye of the Herald just in his trinket slot, ready to drop before the plates happen. So he has just been taking every objective off the map.
Yeah, it's just left, right, center. Wherever Surenfire is, there is no resources at all for Golden Guardians. And I saw Zion Spartan seeing if he could get some sense of lane pressure in this top side, and he just keeps getting shot down by those parlays from Jenkins. And it's just so obnoxious to deal with, especially when you are playing that character that can't really close in. Like, the fact that it's either like a Set, a Darius, someone who can't actually really get any tools to bring them to yourself or get yourself to them with an engagement, it causes this awkward feeling of, needing a jungler to help create that additional pressure. And when you have a farming man like Karthus for hard, you really are left to your own devices to just sort of starve out until you can get to a point where you can bring your tools to a team fight or a skirmish and really swing yourself back into this game.
Yeah, kind of curious to see how the rest of this shakes out, because Shern needs to get a move on with this Rift Herald drop. Keith though gonna start a thing, knock up on the cow after the Rakan ultimate. Here comes Requiem, but not enough to take down the Nautilus, and here comes actual on. Cow is going to get knocked up, and that will be a kill over, but Schönfire just runs down hard and takes him out as Yusui now trying to get in with the Rakan ultimate on himself, but in a 1v3, not really advised, but does give enough space for Shern to get out, as he just has to pop the Herald. There's nowhere else that he can put it.
You know, why not, right? Like, if you just kill the caster minion to get some plates, but it's not even going to be able to do that. It just turned its eyes. That's what feels bad, you know. Like, sometimes Shelly just doesn't want to do the job, and you know, she just wants to work from home today. Like, go back to the base, go heal back up, make sure your toilet paper's stocked, and keep on playing. But you know, you're gonna have to come back for an attempt number 2. You're not gonna get any turret plates, so Team Liquid is just looking solely for pressure with the next Shelly. But with how that fight went down, you're looking at GG saying, all right, you have the tools to come back. You are behind that 2,000 gold. You could definitely feel it with the amount of damage that Rikara and Yusui were punching out, and Schönfire as well, just running down hard. So the question is, with that checkpoint, do you have the capability to contest that next Shelly, to contest that next dragon? Because now you are on this big timer of this Dragon Soul only being 2 away.
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of teams, you know, concede 2 Drakes. Usually they'll trade. Unfortunately for Golden Guardians, didn't have enough map pressure to do that. But yeah, giving your opponent soul point this early on in the game always feels like a losing battle. So I do expect Golden Guardians to pick a fight in 2 minutes when the Drake's up. But I think Schönfire's addiction to power farming kind of cost him there, because he just never found a spot to drop the Herald.
No, he didn't. He just kept on going. Like, I feel that you should always, when you get that Herald, they're asking themselves, all right, where can we put this? And Schönfire, he asked that question, no one answered. He's like, all right, well, I guess we'll just keep on going. He does have to pop that Ragnarok, though, just to get out and make sure that he stays alive. Doesn't give any additional gold over to Golden Guardians than he wants. But now we're into this all-man mid that is way too familiar for myself. And you look at these 2 compositions, like, all right, cool, like, both of you guys can clear super fast. Don't worry about it. You're preparing for Shelly. I hope that's what the play is. And there you go, hard, starting up that Shelly to deny from Team Liquid.
Is going to know, though, probably takes the red and can likely make his way down here, sweeps out this ward, but going to check the pit a little late. Ward over the back is turned off, so isn't going to see it, but maybe they have some info. But again, like, effectively 1v5 if Sean wants to walk in there, so that is going to be the Herald over to Golden Guardians this time.
Yeah, so this is a great positive for Golden, because now with Hard having that Herald, you can place him really just anywhere on the map, and if Team Liquid puts down any pressure, wherever Hard is, he can now ask himself, all right, I have Requiem, I can go ahead and provide that additional damage to help thwart any continuous aggression from Team Liquid, and then I can immediately drop Herald wherever I'm at to the nearest lane and get some pressure instantly to that side, to where Team Liquid will have to start to pay attention. I look at where you say top lane would be a great one just to get Zion Spartan back rolling, but it constantly is thrown down mid just to see if they can crack open the space more. Rikara
going for the dive, Rikara gets knocked up, and Blaze Oliver with a great combo, but now he's a little too far forward, flashes out, but now Schönfire gonna try and contest. Keith gonna get in there and save his teammate. The answer is no, but they do get the tower. Ragnarok though popped to Schön, gonna chase him, but Keith dashes back towards Gorica for safety.
Oh, Yusui, Jenkins on the side here. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab anything just yet. He's constantly roaming down. Okay, decides to back off, goes down to this bottom lane to continue pressuring it, and Mountain Dragon is up. Schönfire goes to that immediately. They know that Golden Guardians has no pressure whatsoever to really try and contest for this, and honestly, I think Hard will just have to give this one up and continue playing the farm game and get to that next item power spike.
Tried to kill Rikara, so it's actually a 4v4 right now, or it could be, as the ultimate did force the MF out. But here is that TP. Zion going to come down. A Blaze Olive back off spawn as well. And Golden Guardian's going to force the issue around the Drake.
All right, well, and Yasui here, he also has TP, he's sitting in base. He actually decides to go top, so this is forfeiting this Mountain Drake. Good call anyways, just to say, you know what, let's continue this farm game, let's keep getting this gold as fast as possible. Don't want any of this economy going to the wayside, and giving only one Mountain Drake over isn't anything harmful, right? Like, if they get 2 to 4, if they're able to just constantly get up to the place where they are able to contest that Dragon Soul, then that's a questionable call for Team Liquid, but so far, just in this short-term mindset, don't need to worry about it too much, and getting some damage onto this top turret as well means Yasui in a comfortable place to possibly look for some more kills as Kao and Rikara coming up top.
Does have an item and a half now, does Yasui, including those Sork shoes. But doesn't want to go too aggressive here, but as you mentioned, his teammates were on that side of the map, so happy to play a bit more aggressive. Certainly waiting to see the map maybe open up a little bit more on the Liquid side. It is a tower apiece as Cal looks for Gorica. Does land the hook.
Okay.
No follow-up there. Gorica just going to Featherstorm out.
Yeah, sadly you got to use that ultimate to deny the ultimate and get away. Don't want to use any summoner spells at that time. Want to save them for the next big fight. And if you're thinking of where that fight's going to be happening, I have to say top side. It's 18 minutes in. Both of these two solo laners of a Blaze Olive and a Yasui are wanting to make sure that they are constantly next to the objectives, because, you know, when Baron pops up, you say, all right, who can really take this down? Golden Guardians actually has a phenomenal composition to not only zone around the objective, but also to take it fairly quickly. You got Karthus, Xayah, and Set to really just sort of shred it down with that damage, and then the zoning coming in from Heath and a Blaze Olive will be just enough to sort of make that question for Team Liquid to either fully invest and overstep, or sort of ingrain themselves in saying, all right, let's just siege and make sure that our pressure is a little bit more threatening than that of Golden Guardians.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because we said that, okay, Golden Guardians, you know, more of the early game team. I think, yes, the meta has moved more towards team fighting and the games have gotten longer.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe not the team we expected to, you know, choose to play something like Karthus on and really commit to playing a later game. It doesn't seem like they're that far behind, but they're actually still down 4,000 gold. So it's weird watching this game because, like, if you look at the scoreboard, like, yeah, TL's really far ahead still in this early game.
Yeah, I'm like thinking of like, what's the big picture for Golden Guardians? Because now, like, this whole argument of saying GG is a better early game, TL wants to scale late, it's kind of moot now because of how those compositions were drafted and how this game has gone on. So you're thinking of, all right, what is the even bigger picture that is completely ignoring at this point? And for me, the theory is Golden Guardians sort of prepping themselves, sort of making sort of like a bulwark for their weaknesses and making sure that they can play multiple compositions to an effective point in preparation for summer, which is already a big question mark for these lower bracket teams.
Kind of a cute move there by Hard. Actually snuck into the top lane, but it's just going to be hit of pressure off the tower. It's already pretty low, so we're not going to be able to defend that 1-1v2, so turret number 2 does indeed go over to Golden Guardians. If Blaze Olive goes to the shop while it falls down around him. Very cute.
Yeah, you know, grabs the Bramble Vest and the Bombing Cinder, so, you know, scaling for that additional massive power coming in from just itemization in general. And that's one thing that also got a little bit nerfed down, was the Sunfire and Cinder damage that you'll be dealing with that additional crowd control. So going into the 20-minute stage, you want to make sure that you can get at least some of that additional damage for these fights. And if you're looking at just general output from GG, every single member just throws down the pain. And another questionable thing for me that I haven't seen too often, except for really what Zion Spartan likes to grab, is that Blade of the Rune King on set, just for like that survivability. Usually I'd see it on like a Hail of Blade set, who just like throws down as many punches as possible and just goes for speed punching, but in this time, just for survivability, I suppose.
It's funny, I feel like he changed his name back and now he's back to his old style as well. This is very much a side lane focused purchase for Zion Spartan. But we'll see how he matches up against Jenkins, who is still looking good in that matchup. Team fight though, brewing. Good ult there by Jenkins, but no follow-up. Here's Yasui there with a stolen on ulti. Oh, it's on ultis everywhere. Blaze Olive with the defensive one. Will disengage the fight. Hard low, but not out, so Golden Guardians do get away.
Yeah, I got to make sure which train you're going to be riding with those ultis, seeing if you can follow in. But, you know, no tickets to ride as they force for that disengagement. And both of those horns calling Zion Spartan down to this mid lane. He does have Flash Showstopper available, and with some of those ultimates down, especially the Yusui one where he doesn't have that additional engagement, could be a possible skirmish here with Zion on the go button.
Yeah, kind of a missed dash, I think, maybe from Blaze Olive. Actually prompted Schönfire to get aggressive, but even though he used a smite, it will be back up for this Drake just about the time they're ready to kill it, but maybe a fight instead for the objective. Golden Guardians do not want to give this away. Knock up their lands. Great ult there for Keith in the back line. Finds a 3-man charm at the end of the day, but Yusui looking for the flank as well. Here comes the ulti out of Hard Requiem. Level 2. No executes given over, but still the fight for the Drake is happening. And Zion zoning the rest of TLA out of here. Schönfire might just want to try and finish off the Drake, but he's going to get killed. Showstopper out. The Drake over to Hard. And there's a stolen Requiem. Almost kills Zion, but it's not enough as Keith even lives as well at the end of the day. And Golden Guardians just rob TLA of that Drake.
That was a beautiful extended contestation for that Drake. You had that initial fight at the very beginning to contest for that mid pressure that Team Liquid was looking for. It got immediately disengaged, and going into this dragon fight, it was all on Keith. He was able to create that zone, make sure that Team Liquid was never able to play on their terms, and allowed Zion Spartan to do exactly what he needed to do, just walk at them and take them out with the Showstopper, getting that 4-man, which was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, sure, not able to use his ulti, so just gets pushed out of the pit, and Hard is able to secure the Drake for his team, so 2 Drakes apiece. And as you mentioned, Coco, you know, giving up that first Drake, not too bad. You feel like you can get the third and then pressure for the soul, but you don't want to give up the 4 Drakes, and you're starting to get on the path now where Golden Guardians, again, despite the deficit that they are in gold-wise, they've kind of flattened this lead. They've got plenty of space to play with, and they're consistently winning fights against Team Liquid Academy, which at this point is the thing that's going to matter more.
Yeah, and the fact that in a little bit of a hidden term too is the fact that it's that Mountain Drake. So the constant continuous growing of defenses for Golden Guardians means that they're going to be able to sustain a lot more hurt against Team Liquid, who has this extended damage and this continuous damage, but no longer will that be the case when they have that as shield and just a brutish amount of bonus armor and magic resist coming in. As Zion Spartan doesn't even care anymore. He has
my goodness,
like we mentioned.
He's got Black Cleaver
he just gets to wail on him. Yeah, he just gets to punch on him. Like, this is what those Mountain Drakes can do, is just saying, hey, those shots, they don't hurt anymore. I can shrug them off, and I can just walk at you.
It's a really brawly build with the Black Cleaver finish now. Zion Spartan clearly feeling confident in the 1v1 despite the CS deficit. I mean, this is not a poor gangplank. He has 2 big ticket items already finished, and Zion's like, yeah, you didn't build to 1v1, so let's 1v1.
Yeah, they just keep on that side lane that Zion Spartan is known for. Ain't no Darshan anymore. And now with the Baron as well up, you're at 25 minutes, you're saying, okay, cool. All these players have at least 2 items ready to go. Blaze Olive is really the only one that doesn't. He's still, like, he did that multi-build where he went for the Bramble Vest just for some more dueling thwarting as it is, making sure you have the health reduction. But this time you're saying, okay, well, you've caught up. You're still that 2,000 gold deficit, or 3,000 gold as it is, but you don't feel that. You don't feel any of that gold being lost, because a lot of it is on that Gangplank, who can now be out-dueled by a Zion Spartan set.
You can see, I think that mid tower is the big thorn in TLA's side right now. They just don't have enough space to be forcing the issue with their aggressive champions. Like, Yusui can't find a 1v1, Schönfire can't chase someone down, although Keith is going to be a good target. Gonna get knocked up, but dashes back, and that's 2 ultimates committed. They're not even going to get the kill. In fact, this might be a counter kill back. The Requiem is good. Goodbye, Schönfire.
Perfect disengagement. That was beautiful by Keith. Like, yeah, you were able to get out. It's super lucky of him that he was able to survive all of that damage, but that's all he needed. He just needed to survive a little bit longer and allow people to come in, allow for a Blaze Olive and Hard to read the sides and be able to take down Schönfire on that end. And now Zion Spartan saying, all right, let's continue this pressure. Let's keep going. Let's find a Jenkins for us.
Actually proxied a wave, and they're now going to dive Jenkins, who self-ults to try and get out of there. TP down as well, so I think Jenkins might be okay in the long run, but 1v4, good flash. Yusui with the ulti gonna knock up Hard, but I don't think they can chase, so just has to TP in and burn the ult he stole to make sure his top laner lives.
Yeah, but none of that pressure is relieved either, because a Blaze Olive is on this top side now and is just wailing away, seeing if he can get to this turret in time. Team Liquid does spot him out. Schönfire is not heading that way, though. I think Rikara or Yusui might be the ones that have to answer it, but deciding actually to back off and see if they can reset and get some more additional pressure into this river here. You look at the vision now, it has completely turned tides. What was once red is now brightened up with blue control words here, especially around that Baron, because that is exactly where these two teams are going to be eyeing at.
Alright, well, thankfully, Rikara and Kao are able to open up the highway in mid, so that tower being down means they have now way more space to fight for these next objectives, which they'll need to do. 30 seconds till that Drake is up. Now both teams can get to Soul Point, and that Baron you mentioned, the Golden Guardians Academy, already have lit up. So TL clearly looking to try and start something here, but it's 4v3 right now, technically. Actually, 4v4. You see just at the top of your screen.
Well, you have the TP as well. TP as well on Zion Spartan, so he can always look out for that. There's the engagement.
Golden Guardians going first. Ragnarok there is going to prevent Shern from getting CC, but here comes the Blaze Olive in. Keith, though, back in the mix. Great three-man charm. Yasui ulted down. Requiem not up for hard, but here's the showstopper. Zion Spartan going to try and make it happen. Face breaks too, including Rikara. Massive W as well with a haymaker, but Rikara able to take him down. Zion just couldn't do it all. And now Jenkins finally joining a fight with his team, it feels like, after side landing for so long. Is looking for the barrels, does not grab it, but TL finally going to win a 5v5.
Yeah, what was a great engagement here from Golden Guardians turned awry, and a lot of that was because of Jenkins' cannon barrage. Right when they wanted to continue the pressure and really double down, that cannon barrage sort of separated all of Golden Guardians and left Zion Spartan on his own, and they're going to continue trying to take down...
Ooh, Hard stole it! He flashes in, Hard able to grab it. Shernfire going to try and chase him down, but he's not even going to get that out of the deal. Now finally a death at the Requiem out, just to get a couple extra Dark Harvest stacks, but that is just rude. TL works so hard for that Drake, and Hard just took it all away.
Oh my goodness, that was the rudest thing you could do, especially as Karthus, just to flash in and Smite steal it. Oh my goodness, Team Liquid has to feel bad about that one. They had all of the pressure around it. They had Jenkins on those sides. You had Yasui zoning as much as he could, but the steal of the Smite coming in means now that this massive stacking of these Mountain Drakes, you have the Soul Point on Golden Guardians as well, and again, it's just this overconfidence in the side lane for Zion Spartan saying, I will continue to batter you down and create it and force you to come and help out with your team directly instead of playing the side lane that Gangplank really wants to achieve.
A little mini game where, like, every time you get a barrel cancel, I feel like Jenkins is in trouble of dying.
Yeah,
Zion,
it is so close.
And Zion it doesn't really mind. So 1v1, I mean, if he gets the outplay, he might get a kill. If he doesn't, he's easily going to force Jenkins out of lane at this point. So clearly supremacy in the side lane right now for Golden Guardians, who are, again, still behind a few thousand gold, but we're almost 30 minutes in. It feels like that gold difference just isn't mattering as much as the way the teams are executing for these fights. And with 3 Drakes now for Golden Guardians, with pressure around Baron starting to mount, with a death cap on the way for Hard, Golden Guardians Academy very well set up for this first Baron.
Yeah, and now I'm looking at these items too. Like, a lot of that additional gold empowerment are coming in from those ornaments, because you got the Molten Edge onto Gorka now, and he still has to level up once more to give at least someone else the empowered item. Like, you could give Zion Spartan that Obsidian Cleaver, sure, that no one else really has anything to get just yet. Like, you're scaling for the Rabadon's death cap on Hard, so he needs to wait until he can grant him that, and you don't have anything even close to being ready for Keith. I can see that he's building for Redemption, so you're at this point now where Golden Guardians, you just lost that last fight, and now you're thinking, okay, let's just wait, but if we're able to control these side lanes or like force an engagement in this mid lane while Team Liquid is trying to manage those, then possibly that might be the play. But currently it's just sort of sit and wait until you get to those next power spikes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like Golden Guardians are just kind of gonna waltz their way to level 16 Karthus with an upgraded death cap.
Yeah.
Like, TL just can't pressure this team. Like, no one can kick Owen out of lane, no one can kick Set out of lane, who now has a stone plate added to it all. And when they try and group for 5v5s around these objectives, they're also getting outplayed, even when they're winning the team fights. So it feels a little rough going for Team Liquid Academy, which again is crazy to say, given that they're still ahead about 4,000 gold.
Yeah, but they're also behind a tool of engagement as well, if you'd like to argue. Like, Keith and a Blaze Olive can look for fights, and they can start fights. You could also argue Zion Spartan can do that as well, where you look over at Team Liquid's side, it's either Yasui is able to steal an engagement tool, and a very obvious engagement tool as it is with the Ornhorn, or you have Cal find a hook. Nothing really else guarantees an engagement. So it causes this concern for, even though you are ahead economically, you can't really exploit that factor as much as Golden Guardians can.
Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly what we've seen played out. So a great nod there to the fact that TL's engage is just a bit harder. We'll have to keep paying attention to Yasui if he can really make that happen. But Jenkins, Zion spot.
Are they looking? Maybe. Might be looking for him. I'd say yes. Like,
all right,
go for
now
this
it's a
because
1v3.
you have the tools.
All right, in
There
for we
you
go.
go.
Ragnarok popped, ulti there from Cal, and Zion's like, okay, we'll try it here. Here comes actually the Orn, a Blaze Olive. A piece out of nowhere, but Jenkins does get the kill. There's the Requiem out as well, so I think GG can turn it around. What a 3-man knock up there from Orn. Keith also zooming in. Gonna try and get a knock up there. He's gonna force the flash out of Cal. 1 for 1, I think Zion will take it.
Yeah, I'd take that. I'd take that win, especially for Zion Spartan, who wasted so much time there. He looked around. The thing is, like, he had so much health and so many defenses, especially with the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He sort of felt like he was casually asking his team, he's like, hey, can we do something about this? And they're like, yeah, we can go, and we got the teleport. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll pop the Stone Plate, I can get some extra time, and then really see if we can come back and swing this around. And swing it around they did, at least neutralizing the trade and keeping the pressure on their side.
Keith also under pressure. Yasui stealing that Rakan ult, but not going to pull it just yet. TL though TP in the mid lane. Ultimate out from MF. They're getting aggressive here as Jenkins going to zoom in and try and get the slows down, but Keith will back off to safety. 10 seconds till the Drake is up. I think you can see why Team Liquid are so eager to start a team fight.
Yeah, you're seeing the desperation from them. They're saying, we need to get this control of these objectives as fast as possible. We let the last one slip. We cannot do it again. But you see the control board there in the pit for both Golden Guardians and Team Liquid. They're saying, all right, let's just play it safe, play it slow, see if we can drag it out to where you can't get a flash smite coming in from Hard, who is constantly seeing if he can check vision with his gate.
Golden Guardians have 2 smites though. Blaze Olive has actually swapped over for this Drake as well. So this looks a little bit dicey. A Blaze Olive in, he's going to go in for it hard also if he can get over the wall, but the Drake is resetting. A Blaze Olive trying to tank as best he can. Churnfire though not really winning that 1v1, but Zion's dove in just to do it all, and there's the solo over to Golden Guardians. The smite was good from a Blaze Olive. He's level 16. Showstopper's going to go ahead and kill the Olaf, and Golden Guardians finally get the kill they're looking for the last time. Zion gets his revenge.
Oh my goodness, that is just tragic here for Team Liquid, who had constant neutral objective control in the early game, but everything has turned awry now that they are not able to take any members of Golden Guardians down. The defenses are way too strong. This is what it was. Like, you get 2-3 Mountain Drakes on your side, and it becomes almost impossible to tear through even the squishiest member of Gorica, who probably, if I could look at his stats, it would be like 110 armor at this point, even with nothing on that side. And Cal just says, we have to go, we have to fight.
Looking for the grab on a Rakara, but Cal is just going to go down instead. Did try and start the fight as you mentioned, but will finally die eventually. Jenkins also going to get shut down first. A Blaze Olive forced it into stasis, but Yasui's actually doing a decent job kiting it out. Shone was dead for 30 seconds with the Baron up, but Golden Guardians take the fight that TL force instead.
Yeah, Yasui on that offside really pulling it clutch for his team, because you're thwarting all of Golden Guardians off of that Baron, because, you know, they're dragging down all that damage to try and take care of Rakara and Cow, and then Yasui on your back end just constantly pricking at you and biting at your heels means you can't just play a 2-side front or a two-front war as it is, and forcing that disengagement. But really nothing truly lost for Golden Guardians. They still have a good amount of pressure. Side lanes sure are on this bottom end, taking care, seeing if they can beat that turret down a little bit more and sort of resetting this top side. And once you go back into this mid lane and say, okay, let's get this Baron pressure again, Team Liquid, they don't have the tools to answer. Both of the teleports are down, and there's a lot of members on this bottom side of the map, and you really have to answer now.
Yeah, just starting the Baron. Golden Guardians know they have the damage. Karthus with the death cap finished and upgraded rips through the objective, and Team Liquid just a bit asleep there. Golden Guardians going to take that Baron.
Caught taking a nap, but if you think of what Team Liquid is asking themselves with that Baron buff going over to Golden Guardians, you can't really siege as effectively with this composition. You can definitely dive, you can try and push them out and try and fight them with Keith and a Blaze Olive, sort of would force ultimates and then try and get underneath just for some additional burst and then attempt the siege. But a lot of those tools being gone would then sort of give like a scent to Team Liquid, saying, all right, now we can re-engage and possibly look for a shutdown. So it's going to be a lot of mind games between these two teams, seeing if they can sort of outflex the other and make sure that they have more tools for those really big fights when the time arises.
Yeah, and it's not like TL don't have things to fight with. Like 3 items on Yusui with a death cap, 3.5 on Jenkins.
Yeah.
Like they have gold, they have items on their carries. But Golden Guardians have Baron and a Dragon Soul, but have played this entire game behind on gold. They're still behind in gold. And it just doesn't feel
They're still like 2,000.
Yeah, they're still down. They're finally going to catch up maybe when they break the base.
Yeah, now that we're breaking it through. Okay, you're still 2,000 gold down. All right, here, start catching up a little bit. The Surenfire seeing if you can sort of zone out Keith here, but that ultimate coming out, this might be the play here. This is the play for Team Liquid.
I don't think that was it. Rikara going to get the kill there, and I think Blazeolive thought he was a bit tankier than he actually was.
Yeah, but turrets like to shred defenses pretty darn quickly when it's consecutive shot after shot, you know. Maybe eventually they'll all just say, screw it, let's just add turret true damage as well, just against tanks. Assassins, regular damage, but tanks, true damage on that, just to take care of them. And now also you had like Jenkins sort of pushing on that top side that Zion Spartan had to pay attention to. So now you have a little bit of this awkward sense of, okay, we're actually close to being in a negative deficit for Baron power play. It's still immense, but you don't want to lose any more lives.
Yeah, again, 60 seconds still with the Baron, but TLA just fighting hard, going to get chased down, but Zion Spartan able to run defense. Sherm flashing back in. He wants to take down the Karthus. He's not going to get it. No, he is, just barely. But it will be a trade, and here comes the Requiem. Gorica, though, forced to flash away. Team Liquid Academy. They're forcing the issue right now. Showstopper lands into Zion Spartan for a taste of his own medicine, but a good hook there from Cow. Zion, over the wall he goes, will flash to safety. But TLA just say, we're sick of losing these fights. It's time to take one.
Yeah, and finally a desperation play from Team Liquid is able to come into fruition in their favor at least as well. And constantly these awkward fights that have been on the back foot for them, or they're just 1 or 2 members down, has now turned the tables for just a short moment of time. And it's at this point again of Golden Guardian saying, okay, we let this one fall through. Our Baron power play, we're able to get some pressure on this bottom side, but really we haven't gained much. We actually really didn't even gain any gold at this point either. We're still around a 2,500 gold deficit, and those ornaments will really eventually fall away. Like now you have the Rabadon's Death Crown on hard, and you have the Obsidian Cleavers for Zion Spartan. So it's sort of like this tricky sense of confidence for GG when you have like an Ornn on your team in general is, okay, we have this massive burst of a power spike when we get those items, but eventually those will muddle out until everyone gets to their full item sets.
And you saw that, you know, Blazeolive very confidently walked under a tower and very confidently died, and that basically stopped the entire Baron push. So we'll reset things. Oh, the Dragon is up in 20 seconds, and TLA clearly empowered by Schoenfire's reckless push into the enemy jungle, but I think they're really sick of getting their objective stolen, so TLA gonna force the issue here around mid.
Yeah, you need to force this. No more DPS checking, no more pressure checking. You gotta fight.
Yep, ulti out there from Rikara. Yusui also looking for the flank. Ulti gets too hard low, but not dead, as actually Keith will get locked up and killed by Jenkins. Cow also in the middle of the fight. Blazeolive counter ultis, but he doesn't really find too much as Shern's still chasing in, but the Featherstorm will keep Gorica safe, and that Stone Plate on with the Mountain Soul is just so tanky, but TLA fighting through it all. Zion Spartan low, but not dead. Finally, with a Haymaker finish, Showstopper is going to get killed in mid-air as Rikara goes unstoppable, and it feels like TLA finally figured it out. When we fight, we can win. Just go.
Yeah, it's just go. That's really the thing they had to learn. No dancing, no light-footedness, just kick them in the face. That's all you have to do. Yusui gets in, he's able to chain them down, lock them in, and, you know, one of the other things, too, was the fact that you held Blazeolive's ultimate to sort of counter-engage a little bit too long. Like, a lot of the times when Golden Guardians was winning those fights or turning them around, it was an instantaneous reply. You saw the ult come in from Yusui, a Blazeolive replied, and that time, they held on for too long. They gave Team Liquid too much room to put their foot in the door, put the foot through the door as it is, and then get some additional damage. So it's something where you don't lose too much for GG. Yeah, in a sense of lane pressure, but now that you have this Elder Dragon that you have to deal with, it's saying, okay, a lot of our defenses now that we were able to get from these 4 Mountain Dragons that we have with the Mountain Soul are really nulled out and moot at this point. So you got to play a lot more carefully for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to get assassinated with the Elder Dragon buff as Team Liquid just clearing out the rest of the map. Yusui now level 18, working on that Lich Bane as his next item, but shouldn't be too far away as the rest of TLA are going to clear out vision around the Baron. It is time to take this objective for themselves. It's up in 12 seconds with the Elder Dragon still on them, so I can't imagine Golden Guardians Academy can really contest here.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of what Jenkins' final item is going to be as well. I can see that Cloak of Agility for that additional critical strike, but I actually think that maybe Mortal Reminder or like a Last Whisper item might have been even grander choice just to help shred through. Like we saw that last fight, the numerous big red numbers of 1,000 damage on every single member of Golden Guardians. If you're able to get that even more, now with the Baron being taken, you have a team that can actually use it more effectively with the poke and siege comp that you have built up compared to GG. Maybe that Last Whisper would be the call, or just say, heck, we have Misfortune with it instead. Just go in and just kick them in the face once more.
Yeah, right now you're still running interference, so that does give enough space for TLA to take the Baron, and this is going to be a big test for Golden Guardians, because this siege, just with the Baron minions streaming in, with Yusui trying to guide the bottom lane as well,
nuts.
It's hard. I don't even know what that was.
That was just one barrel.
Oh,
that was a single barrel. Oh no. If he got below any health, like you had to see the heal was forced out from Gorka. Yep. It's like if he didn't get that heal, he was good as gone.
Nice snipe there for Jenkins, who's quietly had a very good game on this Gangplank. 400 CS, still streets ahead of Zion Spartan in the 1v1, and they will break inhibs in mid and bot and just go home happy. TLA, you know, a few steps away from finishing out this game.
Yeah, they're very close to it now, especially Baron buff being online with Elder Dragon just starting to flicker away. That little bit of that additional poke is going to go offline. So it comes down to Team Liquid just saying, heck, we have 2 inhibitors naked, they're taken down, the super minions are going to be flooding in. We can just look at this top side. Dragon's not going to be up for another 3 minutes, so we can really take our time and prepare and make sure that we are 100% confident to hit the go button whenever it arises. Golden Guardians completely on that opposite side. They say we have to find something, some way, a window to make an advantage back into our favor, because, you know, 2,000 gold differential, don't matter. 10,000 gold differential, that's another story.
Yeah, even though we're late, like, TL are basically full on builds, and GG are still trying to catch up and finish their builds here this late. So
yeah,
the gold difference certainly not maybe as impactful as the number that it is, but certainly is still making a difference here. And you did ask, what did Jenkins finish with that Cloak of Agility? It is another Infinity Edge. He is just going for the damage right now.
Yeah, man, might as well dual wield the Infinity Edges. Don't worry about it, you know. Sadly, you can't have 2 Molten Edges, though, so you can't get that for Gorka. But at least you're going to be just absolutely slapping them left and right. I think that is 75% critical strike. You don't have that 4th one to really close that one out, so it doesn't really matter at this stage. So make sure that Yusui is constantly throwing out the aggression. He's someone that can actually take care of Zion Spartan on these off lanes. And Fire, seeing if he can also get some zoning control, really sort of make it to where you can corral Golden Guardians to a defense that they can't actually hold.
Yeah. This Baron buff still doing so much work here. Is maybe the final fight going to be Blazol looks for Jenkins, but doesn't get the follow-up knock-up, and now the damage is going to stream in, but Keith does get a decent charm. Jenkins going to flash out of there, though, and now it's caught in the back line. Perhaps Zion getting in there, though. Here comes the ulti out of hard. Rakara is going to die. Shern getting in late, but Cow will fall as well, and Golden Guardians, that might be enough of a defense to actually hold the game, but Yusui gets at least 1 tower. Hard flash walls in to try and slow him down, but doesn't quite get the connection. And Zion Spartan, good punch on the barrel, does prevent himself from getting crit down as well. So Golden Guardians will hold on, but it's getting awfully crumbly in the base.
Oh, I was so worried there for the longest time for Golden Guardians, because you see the play come in from Blaze Olive. He hits the go button, he misses the go button, but he continues to go with it as Keith also follows up, and you're just like constantly overextending. And I was so worried because I saw Yusui on that back end just saying, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go for these Nexus turrets and end the game if you really try and overstep your bounds. But at the right time, they were able to get the kills with the teleport from Zion Spartan, who was able to pinch the members of Team Liquid and really close that fight out just in time for them to reply to the split pushing Silas, and split pushing, saying it lightly, as now 2 minutes till Baron. I don't even think this game's going to last that long. It's really all around this next Elder Dragon, which is going to be coming up in 40.
Yeah, it's been a very dramatic game though. 46 minutes through, we're going to have one of two fun things happen. Either a team will win a game where they're going to be down in gold basically the entire time. That's what happens if Golden Guardians Academy win. And TL will beat a team with Dragon Soul, which doesn't happen that often either. So we're clearly in some, pretty uncharted territory this late into the game, but as you mentioned, I think it is just going to come down to these last few engages around these big objectives. So 10 seconds till the Elder Dragon is up. Super minions streaming into the mid and bot lane there towards GG's base, so TLA not going to waste too much time. We'll likely start this dragon as soon as it spawns.
Yeah, these be some uncharted waters. Yusui also on that top lane does have the teleport available for the fight. You got to spread your members out, and you're spreading them thin here from Golden Guardians. The Ornhorn coming in just to ward him off. That's a lot of damage from Yusui. Oh my goodness, Ablaze.
He can't heal back up, but he's now going to Ornhorn himself to try and buy a little bit more time. He misses the dash back, but the Elder Dragon goes over. Now into stasis goes Yusui, but I think he knows at this point he's given up. Oh my goodness, so much healing back from the W, but he doesn't live. He will get shut down. So 5v4 with the Elder Dragon now for TLA.
I just keep reminding myself that is a nerfed Kingslayer heal. Like, that is nuts. But, just not going to be coming out for it anyways. You did spend the time for Elder Dragon to be claimed for Team Liquid. So like you said, this might be the one where Dragon Soul does fall. As now with the 3 members of Team Liquid in this mid lane, you don't have the tools to really force any engagements. You just have to play it slow. And, even though you did waste that time to get the Elder Dragon, now you have to wait those 30 seconds or so left for Yusui to come back and really actually amplify and use the tool that you gained. So, as a matter of fact, you do get to wait out Baron number 2 for either of these teams, as you just have to wait to see really where Jenkins is also going to be, because he is still threatening this bottom lane.
Yeah, he's applying enough pressure here that I don't think Golden Guardians can really contest for this Baron, but we'll see what they decide to do. The 2 inhibs at least did respawn, so there's that, meaning it's only 1 wave of super minions, but Baron again is going to be taking. Yusui can TP in if he needs to, as he has now respawned. And Team Liquid Academy, it feels like they haven't had everything line up. It's been very scrappy, very chaotic in a lot of these situations, but it seems like they're going to win this game. But I guess we'll find out. As Zion Spartan and Jenkins doing battle, we'll just get an ulti out of the Gangplank there, but Jenkins not really under threat.
Yeah, the simple answer for me, Page Street, is just run at the Nexus and hit it till it dies. Or, that's really it for Team Liquid. That's the next objective. That was the first objective, and going to be the final one. Is now teleport coming in from Jenkins, going straight to the mid lane, catching up with his teammates. But it is very dire straits for Golden Guardians. They have really the damage and sustainability to fight Team Liquid, even with the Elder Dragon. I could argue that, but it's a question of, will Team Liquid really allow you to go into that environment to where that is the situation, or even one of the possible scenarios? Because I look at Team Liquid and they've just got their eyes on the back.
Keith, what a flank! Getting in there, that shows up. It's good! It's so much damage from Bar. They take down Rakara. Golden Guardians Academy, they knew they needed to fight, and fight they do. Yusui gonna get chased down by Zion Spartan. The Blaze Olive still chasing Fire, but he's not going to get it just yet. And Yasui's still going at it, but again, the heals just enough. No, it is! Yusui turns it back around, gets Zion Spartan in the 1v1.
Oh my god. What the heck was that? I really want to grab a replay on that one. I'm going to clip that on Twitch right now.
Nice.
Give me a minute, and I'm going to look at it. That was a beautiful wombo combo. That is the one thing that set players dream about happening, and Zion Spartan made it a reality. I'm gonna have some good bedtime stories to tell to my friends tonight while we're housed in, but it's just, can you do that again though? Because they didn't gain any pressure from that. They didn't really gain much.
Yeah, I mean, they just stopped the game from ending. It felt like
yeah, that was it.
It's still 3v4 for Golden Guardians, but Team Liquid can't push it any further, so they'll keep their 2 inhibs, they'll keep their Nexus alive, they'll delay the game even longer. We're now 50 minutes past this game. And again, TLA.
I think they're just adding one of those new objectives for the game, right? All right, either a Dragon Soul loses, either a person who's 10,000 gold, or a team that's 10,000 gold ahead loses, or they're going to lose, and it's going to be the longest game in the spring split. Yep. So I guess that's really what you're trying to argue and fight for. But for me, what now, buddy? Like, Golden Guardians, you're just holding on to the GG just a little bit longer, and maybe you get to a final 6th item. I'm looking around everyone else. Everyone's complete. Like, it's 86,000 to 96. Nothing's gonna go. Like, you have to win that fight outside of, like, you have to like win way out of your base.
Yep.
Like, if you're able to do it, like if you catch them like right now, like if you're pushed out, but you can't though, because you have a naked inhibitor at the top side. So it's just this muddled confusion of that was the play to make, but gaining nothing from it is always the tilting fact of saying, all right, it's really just to hold on until Team Liquid really throws it for us.
Their ults are back, so they can maybe do it again. I think they're gonna have to at least.
Yeah.
Once, maybe twice.
Like twice?
Yeah.
Maybe twice.
If it's really clean and the inhibs are back up, which they are now, maybe once. But I agree. I think it is going to be twice here. So
yeah.
Still quite a road for Golden Guardians to pave back towards the enemy nexus. But they're at least making Team Liquid work for this game. This is, again, we were in uncharted territory before. I think we're just in the void now. Like,
Right.
Very few games get to this kind of point. We're going to have Elder Dragon back up in 50 seconds, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is the opposite of speedrunning the game. Golden Guardians. If this is what you say, oh, we got the fastest game times in Spring Split. I don't know about that one, Captain.
You're gonna bring down the average pretty aggressively.
They're gonna bring down the pretty dark good. Like, okay, all right, Elder Dragon, 30 seconds still up. You can just see the Fnatic Death Ball getting sort of conglomerated for Team Liquid, but Yasui, I don't even think he can fight a Blaze Olive. Like, I don't think he can. Like, we saw the damage that happened last time, and it spent enough of a waste for Zion Spartan to come up. You do see that he has a teleport available, so you have the 2 guys with TP on that side lane, taking care of Yasui, pushing away. Yasui doesn't have the TP, so he can't come down and answer this Elder Dragon fight when it happens. He has to make a mad dash, take the inhibitor, then take the Nexus. And now here you go, Zion Spartan. If you take him out, then you have all the conditions.
I think that's enough damage. Yasui again with the Kingslayer in the zone. He's going to try and stay alive. Still punching away. Massive Kingslayer again as Yasui tries to come back around towards the ulti, but can't do it. So they'll get the kill, but the Elder Dragon goes over and it is shown Fire that gets it. The Golden Guardians can only make one play happen, and now TL, they're not leaving the map. They're going straight down to the bottom lane.
I saw this just a few days ago. The Dignitas pulled the 4-man Xpec play, and it looks like Team Liquid is going to try and replicate the charity stream as they're making for it. They don't know they're there. They don't know. Okay, there's the recall. They're like, all right, we don't see them. We have to
save their lives.
There's the TP.
There's a ward just in a little bit of brush, but this is going to be quick.
Here it is.
Back. Okay, the hits down. They're going straight towards it.
This is a lot of damage.
They're going to go for it. Ricard just flashed over. He's in there. He's trying to end the game. 1v1. Oh, he's getting GA. No. It's enough. It's enough. Oh, my goodness. Team Liquid Academy. 53, almost 54 minutes, and they win the game.
They win the game by playing Splinter Cell. They legit just went, they were like, all right, they don't see us, they don't know. And they just came in for the sneak, and oh man, Ricard with that flash over the CC was absolutely insane. You gotta give him for that one. But I honestly, you look at the end of that and you're like, there's really no real winner here, was it? Except the viewers.
That was fun, certainly. I mean, Team Liquid Academy technically won the game, and they had the gold lead, and they beat the Dragon Soul, so they'll take it, given how important wins are at this stage of the season. But that was not the game I think we expected here. Golden Guardians playing way slower than expected, and actually having a decent job of team fighting. Team Liquid playing more aggressively, especially with Shern, which I guess maybe we did expect. But we had such fast games yesterday, and then one long game to end it, and that was another Team Liquid game. So maybe Team Liquid are just a slow team now. I don't know.
Yeah, like at least like we can still have one statistics that's correct, is that TL has a generally strong late game, but it's sort of that whole game in entirety solidifies to me that these teams are looking to sort of hone their weaknesses and play different compositions that they're really not used to prepare for Summer Split and to prepare the LCS teams for this mad dash for the playoffs. So for me, you got to take the win as it is, and you know, any win is a win.
Certainly true. Well, we're going to need a break, so we're stepping away to set up game 2. Evil Geniuses vs Dignitas Academy is coming right up. Don't go anywhere.